Boogeyman band coming round the bend. Is Boogeyman band. Is Boogeyman band.
My fellow Fright Fiends, and thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone. I hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is going to be a thriller horror movie review. This is the few new theatrical releases have come post coronavirus pandemic. This film actually dropped into selected movie theaters over the summer. I believe it came out in August. I started seeing trailers for it probably around May or June, and was surprised to hear that it was going to be released in theaters, because at that point most theaters in this country were still shuttered, going back to March. Aside from like Tenet, most movies that have come out this year have gone on direct to streaming services like Amazon Prime or Disney Plus. This was one that I didn't know what to make of it when I watched the trailer. It stars a really well-known actor, Oscar winner, and the subject matter seemed very much akin to movies that I am really drawn to, like Joyride, Breakdown, Duel, things like that. The name of the movie is Unhinged, and Russell Crowe is the main actor, well-known actor that's in it, but I didn't know what to think of this film, and for a little while I just put off watching it. I did watch Chris Stuckman and Jeremy John's review of it, just because I typically follow their reviews on YouTube, here on YouTube, and I don't always agree with them, but both of them gave this movie favorable ranking, and I just was curious to see what it was all about, and to give you an idea of what the plot of Unhinged deals with. After a confrontation with an unstable man at an intersection, a woman becomes the target of his rage. Russell Crowe plays Man. They really don't give him a name in this. Caren Pistorius plays Rachel, Gabriel Bateman plays Kyle, and Jimmy Simpson plays Andy. The movie was written by Carl Ellsworth and directed by Derek Bort. So yeah, I called this movie up initially on Amazon Prime. I didn't get to see it in movie theaters when it was originally released, so I did just watch it like a few weeks ago. And I haven't been this excited watching a film since seeing Bad Boys for Life at the beginning of this year in January. To say that I loved this film would be an understatement. I don't know why, but when I watched this film several weeks back, I was going through some personal stuff. Nothing serious, just some issues. And I was angry. I was really frustrated. And a good thriller horror film sounded like a great way to release the tension I was going through. And man, did this movie deliver. I was on the edge of my seat from frame one until the very end of this film when the credits were rolling. I loved this film. I had a blast with it. Russell Crowe is terrifying in this film. He is a brute force, and there is no holding back on the amount of terror that he inflicts on this poor woman, Rachel, who is having a bad day as well. They happen to get into a slight altercation at a traffic stop, and it just unfolds from there, and he goes to every length possible to fuck with her and ruin her life. There are some horrific scenes in this film, absolutely tension-filled. Russell Crowe is milking it for all it's worth, and he does it with such this gleeful insanity that he brings to this character. Like I said, they really don't give him a name in this, but from frame one, you're just like going, this fucker is just not going to give up, and he will not stop until he is dead. And you understand little snippets of what's going on in his life throughout the film, but they never outright say what has led him to this breaking point where he does not give a fuck what he does. Also, cannot say enough great things about our main protagonist, that being Caren Pistorius, who plays Rachel. I loved her in it, and right away, again, it establishes who she is and what's going on in her life. She's going through a divorce, she has a young son, her business has failed, so you have that as well, and it really builds upon her character throughout the film, and I thought she did a fantastic job going toe-to-toe with Russell Crowe. Also, can't say enough great things about the young man that plays her son, but Gabriel Bateman, who was also in the Child's Play remake, which I hated. Not any fault of that young actor, but I just wasn't a fan of that film, but he is amazing in this film as well. Just some terrific moments in this film. This movie had me just absolutely on edge the entire time, because I didn't know how far it was going to go. The trailer made it seem like it was going to be brutal, but to the point that I thought they would, scale back or pull back in some instances, it went even further than I could have imagined. I 100% highly recommend this film. If you follow me on Instagram, you know what a huge fan of it I am. Like I said, there hasn't been a lot of films that have really floored me this year because we haven't gotten a lot of releases. Most of the films that I wanted to see, or most people wanted to see, have been pushed to next year. This, for some reason, was just what I needed at that given moment in time, and this film delivered on every level, met my expectations, exceeded them in every way possible. I cannot recommend Unhinged enough. Easily, this movie will get 5 skulls. So yeah, Unhinged. Absolutely fantastic thriller horror film. I definitely recommend people checking it out on Amazon Prime or however you watch or stream films. I picked it up the day after I watched it on Blu-ray. Absolutely love this film. I even love the music in it and bought the soundtrack. But this film really just took me on a ride for 2 hours. A brutal ride that I absolutely loved, and I cannot recommend this film enough. So everybody needs to check out Unhinged. Russell Crowe is fantastic in it. Everybody that's involved does a fantastic job, and fantastically written and directed, in my opinion. So yeah, check out Unhinged. Thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone. I hope everyone's doing well, and I have more great content coming up real soon. So take it easy. Stay scared as always.